Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, you've had a good weekend so far. Welcome to another Sunday Live, where we do a 20-question mock test, an attempt to do as perception live demonstration. Hopefully, everything goes right this week. Apologies for last week. I'd like to thank those of you that when we was going to sign off, stayed on, because YouTube came back before I actually signed out. So we did do a little demonstration at the end, but hopefully we won't have any issues this week. Let's get my windows up. I can go here. Right, so if you have any questions, please type it into the comment section with a Q semicolon. Just makes it a lot easier for me to find it. I need to get my windows up, comments. And then I'm just sorting out my window so I can see what's going on live and see if you guys are commenting and answer your questions. Right, I think I am good. Right, so let's say hello to some of you guys. If you're new here, also type new. Like to welcome new people. Channel's being found all the time, so I appreciate that. Miriam, good morning to you. Hopefully you're well. Good morning, Aman. Selena, good morning. Got your email, reply back. I have uploaded the diagrams this morning, literally before the live, but I had to sort some stuff out to make sure there's no errors. So it's uploaded. As soon as this live's finished, I'm going to put it in an email and send those diagrams across to you. So they will be with you probably about 12 o'clock whenever we finish. But I've done it. We will email it. I saw your email yesterday, but I had to shoot off to football yesterday. With the app, Testy, I have no idea because I don't personally use it, so I don't know if there's an issue. It's funny because I think one of my pupils, I can't remember if it was this week or last week, mentioned it as well. I just think they're overrun with people trying to use it. So just be patient with it. If there's still an issue, contact their customer service and they can try to help you out with that. Tobar or Charity, let me say that. It's easy, I can pronounce that. You're new, welcome to you. Mark Anthony, good morning. Jonah, good morning. Juliana, good morning. Good morning. Morning. Gloria, emphasize hello. Good morning to you, Gloria. Mark has passed his theory test. 45 out of 50, 53 out of 75. Well done to you, Mark. Congratulations on passing. Yeah, let me know what your next step is. We haven't done that for a little while to know what you guys' next journey is, whether you're going to take driving lessons or look to book that impossible driving test that everyone's struggling to find. Rossi has passed as well. Congratulations. Again, let me know what your next steps are. Okay, it's a journey. Once you pass the theory test, you're on to your either driving lessons or driving test. I know it feels like 2 years seems like a long time. That's how long your theory test lasts for, just in case you didn't know. But 2 years does fly by, especially with the waiting time for a driving test between 4 to 6 months, especially if what part of the country you're at. So if you imagine it's 6 months in London, technically it's about 6 months. You fail it, that's a year gone already. So my advice to you guys is definitely pass the theory test and get onto your driving straight away. Ideally, if you can, practice your driving while you're studying for the theory, because once you pass your theory, then technically you're almost good to go. Just book a driving test and get that sorted out. First time joining live, welcome. Hopefully you find something useful and keep coming back again. Let us know if you got a theory test booked, or you're just starting out on your journey with the revising, studying. England Traveller High says last Friday. Wow, that's where it's written. 40. I'm assuming that's the fail because you got 42, 43. I'm assuming that's got to be a fail. 42 out of 50, 59 out of 75. Just clarify that for me. If it's a 42 out of 50, then it's 8 questions wrong. So 5 categories minimum of questions you got wrong. I would restudy those categories and then go again. Jonas passed last Friday, 46 out of 50, 66. Wow, well done to you. Congrats. Well done. Thank you for letting me know that you've passed. Lucinda, again, another pass, 46, 57. You've just helped me a lot. Congratulations on passing. Again, for those of you that's passed, let me know what you're doing next. What is your next step? Asana's new, good morning to you and welcome. I'm assuming that's a 45 out of 50, 56 out of 75. Pass, congratulations. Ebby, I've not seen your name before, so I've got to say welcome. All right, let me, God, there's a lot of you. How much of you are here at the moment? 42, and we're not even 10 minutes in. Thank you for you guys turning up. Appreciate it. Terry, how are you? Hopefully you're well. All right, let me, Herald TV, good morning. All right, let me do the overview first because I can say morning to you guys all morning, to be fair, but that's not why you're here. All right, so for those of you that are new, I do an overview because I don't assume that you guys know how the theory test works. You'd be surprised how many people just take a test and they don't know how it works until they turn up, fail it, and then send me messages, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. So your questions, 50 questions, multiple choice. The 50 questions made up of 14 different categories. So when you go for your test, the test is unique to you. And what I mean by that, if there's 10 of you in the room, it's 10 different tests going on. Same format, 50 questions, but your 50 questions is made up randomly. And that's why I keep saying, especially for those of you that know my channel and watch the videos, study the categories individually, because you don't know how your 50 questions is going to be made up. So for one person may get 5 road signs, for another person they may only get 2 road signs. So that's why I suggest you study your categories. Also, still getting the emails every single week. The questions on the apps are sampled questions. They're not real questions. They're the sampled questions made up, but similar to how the real test is. The DVSA do not release the real questions because when they did that back in the day, people memorized the questions, memorized the answers. And when they went for driving, they didn't understand what it was and how to apply it. So they stopped doing that. So you need to learn and understand it. So when you pass your theory test, you go into your driving's at a decent standard. The time you have to do that is 57 minutes. I would, again, if it was me doing it, if I have to take near enough 57 minutes to pass it, if that's what I would do. Again, emails coming in. I've done it in 15, 20 minutes. I felt I don't know what I did wrong. What you did wrong was do it in 15, 20 minutes. That's your baseline starting there. If you get lucky and you studied and the questions are similar to what you studied, yeah, you're going to take 15, 20 minutes because you know what the answers are. But if you get questions, which is it's most likely that you're going to get questions that you've never seen before, questions worded totally differently, that's where you want to spend your time to work out the answer that you're looking for. Once you've done the questions, you move on to hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them have a single hazard. One of them's got a double. 2 5s. You need a minimum of 44 to pass that. The questions, I should have said, you need 43 out of 50. But hazard perception, you need 44. So your average has to be 3 or more when you finish your videos. Obviously, you won't know what the average is as you're doing the videos. But at the end of it, it needs to average at least a 3. So you get the minimum mark of 44. What you're looking for in terms of answers, you're looking for a safe outcome. That's what the theory driving test is about, safety and control. If the answer does not lead to safety, then it's going to be a controlled outcome, which is normally your motorway questions and your first aid questions to a point. So that's the basic overview of the theory test. Struggling to find a test in Cardiff, and it's I don't know what that means. Any advice, please? Just log on different times, different days. There's no magic wand anymore. The DVSA releases driving tests Monday morning 6 a.m. You can log on at 5 to 6 and hopefully pick up any new dates they release at 6 a.m. It may take you a few Mondays with that, but I would just suggest logging on different times of the day, morning, noon, and night, maybe 3-4 times a day to find the date. But like I said, it's just first come, first serve. Everybody's doing the same thing, hence why you're struggling to find a date. But you're gonna have to put some work in, as in just logging on, or get up Monday mornings nice and early. Miriam passed my test last week, 45 out of 50, and has a 67. For me personally, I think you guys get in the 60s, high 50s on the real hazard perception. I think that's amazing, because I know the nerves are kicking in. Get trigger finger, clicking too many times, not clicking enough. So getting 67 out of 75, I find that's amazing, to be fair. So well done to you. You're welcome, Sophie. Sophia. Good morning. I failed my theory test twice. If you failed it twice, you've got data. You've got 2 pieces of paperwork. Put them side by side, and see if there's a common denominator in those categories that you're failing. If it's 2 on the 2, if you failed it, that means you've got at least 8 questions wrong. So you've got 42. So if you got, just example, you got 42 on both of them. That means you've got 8 questions wrong, at least 5 categories wrong. You now got data. What you want to do is put the 2 pieces of paperwork side by side and see if there's a common denominator between the 2. If there is, that's the categories you need to restudy. So for example, if it's documents, I don't know, 2 questions on the first test that you had and 2 on the second one, you need to restudy documents. If it's almost different categories on both, that's a lack of knowledge. You're going to have to go back to basics and then go again. If your scores are, because you just said you failed, you didn't say how. If you are in the 30s, it's back to basics. If you're going for a real test and getting 30s, you need to go back to basics. It's lack of understanding. You don't know why the answer's what it is, hence why you failed it. But you have data. Take it as a positive and use that. Just booked my theory test. Okay, hopefully you're ready for it. All right, let me start the mock tests, because that's why you guys are here, and I'll catch up with the comments as we go along. Oh wow, well done to you. I watched your videos on my car theory test on my second test on Tuesday. Thank you so much, much appreciated. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know that you've passed. Appreciate that. I want to pass. What do I do? Study. That's totally way around it. Not being funny, but what else can I say? Brenda, hello to you. Right, let me do share my screen first of all. Right, so for those of you that are new, let's get my cursor up. So you can see where I'm going to be pointing. Right, so those of you that are new, we read the question first. This is what I suggest you do on your theory test. Sounds just silly, but believe it or not, it works. Read the question first. What do these multiple signs mean? Because sometimes there's clues in the question, sometimes there's clues in the answer. If it's got an image, take a look at the image, really examine it, because again, sometimes there's clues in the images as well that can help you out. So what do these multiple signs mean? And then go to your options. This is A for those of you that are new. This is B, so A and B on the top line, C and D is on the bottom line. If you think it's A, then put the question number and then A, because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. So I want to make sure we're always on the same question number. Please put the question number. Please put the letter. I'll show up on screen because you guys are taking effort to type it in. I want to show it, but if you don't put the question number, I can't show it because I don't know if it's related to the one we're on. Right. Estina. Put this down a little bit. I have my test next Monday. So you got another live. So while you're studying this week, write down any questions that you may have. Bring it to next Sunday's live. Let's go through it. and send you in there nice and confident. Brenda, you are welcome. Hopefully you learned something and come back. Appreciate the support. Brilliant morning. That's Summer. How are you? Bree Gabby, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. And you passed your test as well. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming to the live, letting me know. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm not going to attempt it, but good morning, Doranye. I finally came here. Welcome. Glad you finally made it across. The yellow YouTuber. Again, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Morning, Doranye. I've been a silent viewer. On Friday, 35 out of 50 in fairy test, 34 out of 75 has perception frustration. I don't get to see what answers I got wrong. If, like I said just earlier on, if you're getting in the 30s, that's a lack of knowledge. You don't understand why the answer's what it is. And hazard perception needs a lot of work because you got 34. So that also suggests you don't know what hazards are. With the hazard perception section of the paperwork they gave you, what I would do is look how many zeros, ones, and twos you got. That's what you need to improve on. Because it gives you a breakdown of how many zeros, ones, and twos, but you don't know what a hazard is. Hence why you got 34 and 35 out of 50. You don't know why the answer is what it is to the question. You need to understand why. It's easy enough to memorize answers. What you need to do is understand why the answer is what it is, or even better still, understand what they're asking, and that way when they reword it on the real test, it makes no difference to you. Right, we have the first one. Let's get these ones up. So let's do this. Right, it's all D's at the moment, so this is a nice easy one to start off with. Right, D. These are countdown markers to your next exit. Countdown markers, there's 4 types. Blue and white, as you know, motorway. Green and white is your dual carriageways. Black and white's on approach to a roundabout. Red and white ones, if they show you that, is on approach to a level crossing without gate or barrier. A collision has just happened. An injured person is lying in a busy road. What's the first thing you should do? All right, let me catch up with your comments. Oops. I have been a silent for a while. Appreciate that. Catch it on the replay. Once this is finished, YouTube does what they do, and I'll leave it up. I don't take it down. I don't even edit it, so it's up on YouTube. But you've been watching the video, so I appreciate you getting here, first of all, for the like. It's not convenient, and watching the videos. Chidi, how are you? Hopefully you're well. Listen to your videos in the past. Thanks, you're welcome. Ending of the month. Again, got any, Asana, if you've got any questions, type it into the comment section. Let's get that passed at the end of the month. Chai is the first time here. My fairy test is on Wednesday, 22nd. Yeah, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Come back next Sunday. Let us know how you got on. But I wish you the best luck. Again, if you've got any questions before we sign out, type it in. Let me help you out. Toyin, welcome. I've not seen your name before, Toyin, so welcome to you. Thank you so much for understanding what I practice now. You're welcome. Celine's saying 100% recommend Dora's bootcamp helped me to fully. In saying that, the bootcamp will be start running soon. I am doing another course. I'm going to do a pilot, which is going to be released in November. So for those of you that are struggling with your theory test, I'm doing a 30-day study camp. A lot of people said the boot camp is, as Selena said, recommend the boot camp because it's over 5 days. It's not convenient for people's work. So I'm doing another course, which is a 30-day study camp. So you got 30 days. You should be able to pass within the 30 days. And that's going to be released middle of November. It goes live. The waiting list will be open by the end of the month. And you have access to the theory training, the 5 days, the 4 days of training as well. And you can join at any time. It's not literally just 1 week. You can do it over the 30 days. And if you don't pass your theory test, I will pay for your next one. That's how confident I am with that one. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. 30-day study camp is called, and it's coming soon. So I'm going to be stopping the boot camp soon. I'm really happy. Thank you so much, Dorian, for all you're doing. I've been a silent student for a while. Congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming and letting me know and breaking your silence. I appreciate that. All right, let's catch up with these twos. So I'm just trying to find the twos. There we go. Got 2D. I've got to assume A is correct because the majority is saying A. There can't be so many people wrong. So someone who's got 2D, and I'm assuming I got a B as well. Interesting. So I've got B's, D's, A, B's, and D's. All right, let's break this down in a minute. Another B. I'm looking for a week study camp. The boot camp is still live. Jump on the website. I think it's in this description. I can't remember if I've done a description for this video, to be fair. Yeah, jump on the website, www.drivingferryuk.com, or jump below a video and the link is there while the bootcamp is still going. Right, this is interesting. A, B's, and D's. Let's break this down. A collision has just happened. An injured person's lying in a busy road. What's the first thing you should do? What's the first thing you should do? We got warn other traffic. That's one of the first things. Make sure that injured person is okay. Why would you want to do this? That's not the first thing you do. Got to make sure the area is safe. In other words, make sure the traffic stops so you can do this. And the other one was D. Place them in a recovery position. They're recovering from what? It just says they're injured and you place them in a recovery position. Recovering from what? It's warn other traffic. Make the area safe first. How should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on the hard shoulder? Passing the first attempt, 45 out of 50, 54, 75. Again, congratulations. Honestly, I didn't expect to pass. I only booked for tests to get an idea of what it would be like so I could prepare better for the second attempt, but I passed first time. Well done to you, but you shouldn't be doing that, but it works for you. I watched all the videos and also purchased a 4-in-1 Theory Test Success app. Yeah, my videos are supposed to be used in conjunction with an app. There's a lot of people still passing without the app, which is fine. But it is supposed to be used in conjunction with the app. So you've done the right thing in that sense. And also with the 4-in-1 app, otherwise known as the Driving Test Success, they've got driving videos on there now. So you can actually use it after you pass the theory test. So it's worth the money, $4.99. I've also recommended. First of all, congratulations on passing again. Sorry. Thank you for recommending me to your groups. I appreciate that. the amount of people that's sharing the channel and all the other bits and pieces. I appreciate that. The only way you're going to pass first time is listen to your instructor, because you need to be totally independent. Try to be calm and relaxed. There's so much tips I can give. What I would suggest is when you get near your test date, come back and then let me give you those tips for the day and how you should prepare for it. Doing it now, if you're not ready for the test, is going to go over your head. Dark Summer says good, doing good. My test is on the 27th, which is next week, I believe, week after next. So you got another Sunday. I'm also getting between 46 and 50 and 50 questions, non-mock test. Let me come back to that. Catch up on the freeze. Right, here's the first one, I think. Got a D in there. Again, I've got to assume the majority is correct. I got another D. Wow. D again. I was just about to say I got to assume the majority is right, but it was 3 C's was the popular one, but now it's all D's. Right, so C's and D's. A, B, C, D is not set properly to view. 3 is D. Okay, it's out of sync. Always on the top lines A. This is B. This is C. And this is D. So B and D will always be on the right. A and C will always be on the left. But let's break it down anyway. How should you rejoin the multiple after breakdown on the hard shoulder? After. Okay. Move straight out into the left-hand lane as you're not allowed to drive on the hard shoulder. Move straight out. That's wrong. That's not safe. Keep your hazard lights flashing until you have safely rejoined the carriageway. Keep your hazard lights on. Shouldn't be flashing hazard lights on the motorway unless you're slowing down. Wait until a vehicle in the left-hand lane signals to you. That can't be safe either. Build up your speed on the hard shoulder before looking for a safe gap. This is a safe one. Build up your speed on the hard shoulder. So drive, I would suggest do a minimum of 60 miles an hour. But the reason why, because the lorry can only do 60, which means the gap stays the same. Hence the word looking for a safe gap in the traffic. So it's going to be D. You're in a line of traffic. What action should you take if a driver behind is following very closely? So let's go back to the dark summer. Also scoring 46.50. Also getting between 46. You want to start doing mock tests because you said non-mock test on the following one. Start doing mock tests so the question's random. The questions are random and go there. So you're scoring 46 out of 50, which is good. So you're on point. But let's start putting that into a mock test situation because as soon as the brain hears test, it starts to act differently. So you want to see how you act in a test situation, even though you may be doing it at home in a home environment. So you want to start doing mock tests and get a true reading on that. I score 0 on 2 occasions. My hazard perception. If a computer said I overclicked, I don't know why. Told you why you overclicked. So that means you're clicking on stuff that don't exist. Or maybe too many clicks per problem. You should be clicking 2 per problem. But if you're clicking too many times, you're clicking on stuff that doesn't exist. That's the only reason why it adds up. Or maybe too many clicks for that has like 3 or 4 for one problem. That's another reason why. Binyam, how good when it failed again? My very test 40, hazard perception 62. So the hazard perception is fine. Just don't neglect it. 40. That's 10 questions wrong. That's going to be about 7 to 8 categories wrong. So there's a little bit more studying to do on that. Pass first attempt one book. 48 out of 50. Missed it by 2. Magical 50, 60 to 62. Having troubles finding drivers. The same for everyone. As I said, your best bet is Monday mornings at 6 a.m. and see if there's any dates that come up that you can grab. Other than that, jump on their website, DVSA website, from different times of day, AM, PM, different times, because people do cancel. But like I said, everybody's trying to. Christopher, you're welcome. Happy Sunday. I'm new to the channel. Welcome. Everybody's doing it. So like I said, you have to be patient and put some effort in to get these dates. It wasn't my screen. It was the way the questions are worded. Because there was so much words in the question, they just dropped the box. It's got nothing to do with, because I'm using the app. So it's got nothing to do with my screen. Oh, got a B in there. Got another B. Another B. Saying I've passed for multiple questions, but I'm struggling with my hazard perception. Stick around towards the end. I'll do a demonstration with that. If you're struggling with the hazard perception, what are you struggling with? For the, you're in the line of traffic, what action should you take? And there was a B in there, wasn't there? B's and D's. Okay. Let's look at B. Once you've got ignore, so let me just get this up. Once you've got ignore in the answer, it's going to be wrong, because if you're ignoring the driver behind, then you can't be safe. So slow down, gradually increase the gap between you and the vehicle in front. And the key there is slow down is the clue. So that's why it's this answer. But you can't ignore the driver behind. You need to be aware of it, especially if he's driving closely. You're approaching a busy junction. What should you do when at the last moment you realize you're in the wrong lane? Trini in foreign. Pass first attempts, one book and videos. 48 out of 50, 62 out of 75. I think I've done that one already. Yeah, everyone's struggling. Booking a driving test. 48 out of 50. Yeah, like I said, you want to now start to make it real by doing mock tests, and then see what your baseline score is, and then clock what time you're taking as well. As I said, what you don't want to be doing is 15, 20 minutes, especially if you're doing it on the apps, because when you go into the real test, if you're doing it fast on the real test, on the mock test, when you go in there, you can't change it in terms of how your brain thinks. If you try to slow it down, your brain's going to overthink it and then pick the wrong answer. When you guys are practicing at home, you should be practicing the way you're going to take the real test as well. Take your time, read the questions very, very carefully. Right, looks like you guys are all agreeing on this one. This is a D. Yeah, you've got to continue. You're traveling on a road that has road humps. What should you do when the driver in front is traveling more slowly than you are? Again, always look at the image. There's no rule of clicking that. You've not got a problem because you don't know when to click. You've got a problem because you don't know what hazard is. There's a difference. You said, I've got an issue with hazard perception. I don't know the rules of clicks. I always score 0. You're not scoring because of the clicking. You're scoring 0 because you don't know what the hazard is. If you stick around towards the end, I will be doing a demonstration as long as it doesn't mess up like last week. If not, if it does go bad, YouTube that is, I've got videos on the channel, or you can watch the replay of any live, because I'll always do a demonstration now on the lives. FID, hopefully I'm saying FID, hopefully I'm saying that right. But anyway, welcome. I've not seen your name before, so thank you for being there, breaking the silence, and congratulations on passing. Still got 5s coming in. I'm looking for the 6s. There's a 6. Francisca saying good morning to everyone. All right, you guys are going for B. Yeah, stay behind. If they're driving slowly, stay behind. Be patient. What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? $47. First of all, Aqual, hopefully Aqual Jerry, welcome. I've not seen your name before, so I've got to assume that you're new, or a silent viewer. Thank you for coming to the live. Thank you for letting me know that you've passed. Congratulations on passing. Has perception just did it though. 44. You need 48 out of 75, but you passed it. A pass is a pass. And congratulations again. Unique Perfection Fitness. I'm not seeing your name before, so welcome to you. 50 out of 50. Well done to you. Congrats. And 68. That's perception. Well done to you. Appreciate for the recommendation and shout out. But well done to passing and getting the magical 50. Sevens. I think YouTube's really slow this morning. Wait for a few more to come through. But you guys are going for D. Let me just quickly show you with this. This is an obvious one, but this is how, like I said, sometimes when I say read the questions carefully, you've got tire wear here, and the only thing that connects to your tires and out of all of them is your brakes, hence why the answer is D. So like I said, sometimes there's clues in the question. That's why you want to break it down. And this is why I say about understanding the question, because like I said, the clues are there. Ooh, you're performing a cardiopulmonary resuscitation CPR on a 6-year-old child. How is it different to performing CPR on an adult? Didi, good morning to you. How are you? Remember, if you've got a question, type it into the comment section. But to put a Q semicolon just makes it a lot easier for me to see it. Otherwise, it just looks like a comment. And I may skip over it because I have not seen it. got a C there. Got another C. Got C as well. D's and C's is what I'm seeing. The answer is, this is one of the new questions that came out a few months back. The answer is D. 4 to 5 centimeters with a child. Got C. With a 6-year-old child, it's 4 to 5 centimeters. C is with a toddler. You place them chest down in your palm, and then you do 2 fingers and you go through the back for a toddler. So this is a toddler answer, which they can ask you on the real test, hence why the answer's there. But this is for the 6-year-old child. Use 1 hand. For an adult, it's 2 hands that you use. It's 5 to 6 centimeters for an adult. Why do MO tests include an exhaust emissions test? It's the same everywhere. Like I keep saying, it's the same for everybody all over the country. Same for us when we book our tests for our students. We just got to keep jumping online all day while the office is open. They do 9 to 5, jumping on different times of the day to get these tests booked in. So like I said, there's no magic wand at this point in time. You just got to be patient and keep looking. Or what you can do for all of you that are looking for a driving test, look outside of your area and see if you can book a test outside the area, and then use one of the apps to try to change it to your area. But you need a test date for that to happen. So test shift is what my students tend to use. They book a test date wherever they can get one, and then use test shift to bring it to the area at the time they want it done. Your theory test. Oh, wow. How much testing has you got in Oxford that you can't get one? Crazy, especially this time of year, going to Christmas. It's normally quiet. If that's the case, then what I would suggest is you go outside your area of Oxford and see if you're going to have to travel. First question I would ask, are you ready to take a theory test? If the answer is yes, then I would probably look to travel outside of Oxford. But Oxford should have more than one test in it, surely. All right, you guys are going for D. Yes, emissions. So you got environment in there one, so to protect the environment. What type of vehicle could you expect to meet in the middle of the road? Like I said, always look at the diagram, because sometimes there's clues in the diagram or the image, and then go from there. I have my test on Friday. Our students have got theirs on Friday, 5 p.m, 24th, 5 p.m. Wish you luck with that. Come back next Sunday, let us know how you got on. Again, if you've got any questions done before you sign out, type it in the comments and let me answer it before you sign out. I'm planning to go next month. Get it booked. What you want, if you're planning to go next month, get it booked as soon as possible and then work towards it. If you don't feel like you're going to be ready, you can always push it. Keep an eye on a cancellation, by the way. It's 3 days before the cancellation date, and then you can always change it. But if Oxford's that busy, you want to get one booked and then work towards it. Hannah's got the test next month. I wish you guys luck with your test coming up. But for those of you who've got a test coming up real soon, oh, that's a 9. Don't know, should be there. Type your questions in and let me answer them. If it has a perception issue, I'll do a demonstration after this. 20 questions. 10C is what you guys are going for. With this, this is height. Oops, wrong one. So the reason why, just in case you didn't know, it's a lorry. They have to drive down the middle to get through, so it's going to be in the middle of the road. They can do it individually, which would be a lorry in this case. The other answer could be a bus, or they can do it collectively and say high-sided vehicle and just throw everything into one. So high-sided vehicle for the real test. So that's why the answer is what it is. You're driving on a motorway and have to slow down suddenly due to a hazard ahead. How can you warn drivers behind of a hazard? So a lot of C's just literally came in. Let me just put these up because you guys took the time out to type it in. Solomon, welcome. And there's a massive delay with YouTube because these 10 C's are just diving in now. What time are your car boots live? I don't do car boots. It's a boot camp for the theory test. They're Monday to Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. They're all recorded live and it goes up the next day, so you can watch the recordings and you've got access to all the training material until you pass. I don't take you out of there, so you stay in until you pass. But the boot camps Monday to Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 via Zoom, where we cover the categories in detail, has perception, and stuff that don't come up on the live sessions. But you also, the most important thing, you get to ask questions. That's the most important thing, because then I can answer it personal to you. Of course, because I finish at work at 8 p.m. If you finish at work, you won't be making the live sessions, but like I said, the recorded sessions are there. But as I mentioned earlier on, the boot camp I'm going to sign the boot camp off at some point towards the back end, the middle of November, and it will be replaced. So I'm just seeing 11Bs, 11Cs. You guys are still split with a 30-day study camp where you're going to have a lot more help on that, personal help on that. I'm going to be tracking your stats as you study day in, day out, week in, week out, to make sure you guys pass. Yeah, you guys are split on this, B's and D's. Okay, let's break it down. Right, the key, let me just do this first. This is because, like I said, some of you are split. So you want to pick out the key words on this. So you've got hazard ahead. Wrong one, let's use this one. And then you've got hazard again. So that's the clues. And then you want to break it down. Flash your headlights. Switch on your hazard. Hazard, hazard, hazard. Switch on your, flash your headlights. Switch on your headlights. Sound your horn. It was B's and D's, wasn't it? Yeah, D's. Sound your horn. Horn's to warn of your presence, not to warn of danger. So that's why it's C. So those of you that's put D, that's how you would work it out. Like I said, if you read the question, break it down, there's clues in there for you. Which driving technique can help you save fuel? First of all, I've not seen your name before, so appreciate that. I'm gonna just call you Lucky. I can't pronounce your first name. Lucky. Lucky. Congratulations on passing. Like I said, thank you for breaking the silence and being here. Let me know that you've passed. And that's 4 days before. Watched all the videos, and what I taught you on the videos that you watch came on your test. So well done to you. And watch the hazard perception first thing in the morning. Congratulations on passing. Though. Well done. $65 has perception. I've got to congratulate you on that high score and 45 out of 50. Well done. Ruth is new. Welcome. I appreciate the recommendation. I really do. If you guys are book readers, I studied the way you learn. So if you guys are book readers, there's got D there. Read books, but just make sure the book is in date. By the way, don't go and borrow books from friends because they could be outdated. The fairy test gets updated every 2 years. So yeah, if you're a book reader, do that. If you like to be visual, apps are good. For me personally, if I was studying this, I would be apps because I'm not a book reader, especially with my dyslexia. That would be a bad way for me to study. But like I said, you guys have to study the way that your brain makes you learn. Everybody's different. We don't all learn the same way. Right, so you guys are going for C, missing out. This is called a block gear change. So saving fuel, you skip gears. If you guys are doing manual lessons, driving lessons, that's what the examiner would like to see, is that you skip gears. In other words, it's called block gear change. What should the driver of the grey car be especially aware of? Again, look at the image. There's a clue there. Welcome. I can't pronounce your name, so welcome to you though. Appreciate you joining the live. Hopefully you learned something. Again, if you've got a test coming up or you want a question, type Q semicolon, let me answer it. What is the best 4-in-1 app? I think you mean what's the best app? The app that I recommend is called 4-in-1 Driving to Success. I'm not saying it's the best because I haven't used all the others in recent times. But when I did use them, the interface wasn't as friendly as the 4-in-1 of otherwise known as Driving to Success. That's the one I use. That's the one I've stuck to. That's the one I teach my pupils on. So that's the one I get results out of. So that's the reason why I say it's the best for me. But to be fair, as long as you're paying for the app, most of them are similar. The questions are from the DVSA database. So, and the videos are the same. So you're not missing out. It's just, I think the interface on the Driving to Success is the better interface. Easier to use, more friendly. And that's what I'm using now, but I'm using the desktop version. So what you're seeing here is the desktop version and instructor's version of the 4-in-1. So I practice what I preach. You are welcome. Right, you guys are going for A. The road's narrow, so you want to be careful of doors opening. Like I said, there's clues there. And this would help if you guys are driving. That's why I say take driving lessons while you're taking the theory test, because you would know from your driving lessons, less space, less speed is what we say as instructors. So less space, less speed. Driving on the narrow roads, doors opening, child or children walking between parked cars. Which vehicles are prohibited from using the motorway? I feel best is the easy answer, to be fair. The answer is A, mobility. They're not allowed on they're allowed on the dual carriageway, but not on the motorway. How can you avoid wheel spin when you're driving on an icy road? Ray Daniel, welcome, first of all. Like I said, if you put doing the question, please put a Q semicolon. I thought that was a comment. I'm looking to book my driving test. What's the best way to get notified? There isn't. As I said to everybody else who was asking, DVSA releases new dates at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. So you may want to log in 5 to 6 on a Monday and just jump on the DVSA website, different times of the day, different days of the week, and hopefully get a cancellation. But there isn't anything else you can do other than that. So I'm just finished showing these 14s. I think YouTube is slow bringing these in. What that means prohibited, right? This is why, that's a good question, Striker. By the way, this is why I'm saying you need to understand the questions and answers. Prohibited just means you can't use it, not allowed to use it. That's in simple English terms. I don't know why the fairy test uses words that are hard to understand. In other words, not allowed to use it. Right, here comes the 15s. What's the best technique to pass the fairy test? Study. But then you'll have to find the way that you learn, the best way to study. As I was saying, whether you do books, whether you do apps, whether you do online, whether you're trying to watch YouTube channels, there's other channels out there that do mock test, fairy stuff like that. You just got to find what's best for you, but study is the only way. B. Again, the key word very slow. You stopped on a hard shoulder of a motorway and you used the emergency telephone. Where's the best place to wait for help to arrive? I wish I saw this earlier on because you went for a D. I don't know what D was. I can't go back. Hannah, I practiced the hazard perception, but I'm not getting the right click time. Please help. I'm going to do a demonstration at the end, but if you're not getting the right click, it means you don't know what the basic reason for that is because you don't know what a hazard is. That's the main reason. If you don't know what a hazard is, me showing you what a click is, it ain't going to help. You need to understand what a hazard is, but I'm going to explain that once we finish the live because you need to understand what a hazard is. It's not about clicking, it's about understanding what the hazard is so you know when to click. All right, let's get the 16s up. Understanding what a hazard is I got a D, is no different from understanding the question. The same way you need to understand the question, understand the whys, you need to understand what the hazard is so you know when to click. If you don't know what the hazard is, you won't know when to click. You're guessing, hence why the 0. Oh, there's a couple of got B's and D's and C's. B's, D's and C's. Let me just wait for a few more to come through because YouTube. B's, D's and C's. All right, let's break it down. You stop on a hard shoulder of a motorway and use the emergency telephone well away from the carriageway. Is still going to be the answer. Well, where's the best place to wait? You want to stay well away from the carriageway. B's, D's, and C's on the hard shoulder. That's where the car should be, not where you should be. It says, again, breaking it down, you stop on the hard shoulder for motorway and use the emergency telephone. Where's the best place to wait for help to arrive? For you waiting for help to arrive. Your car should be on the hard shoulder, but not you. That's why it's not that one. Well away from the carriageway is the safest place, behind the barrier. And next to the phone. Your car won't be next to the phone. So that's why it won't be this one. Another theory test question for you. How far apart are the phones on a motorway? They're a mile apart. So the furthest you can walk to a phone is half a mile. So your car could be half a mile away, but you're sitting next to a phone, which means when they get to the car, you're not going to be there. It's this one. You're on the motorway. When can you use hazard warning lights? This is just revamped from the previous question. They're coming in now. So there's a massive delay here. These come through. 17's come through. I'm going for D. Yeah, this is the same or similar answer to previous question when it has the lights on. It's just revamped, reworded. And this is why I say understand the question so you don't get tricked when they reword it. Danger ahead is another word for hazard in terms of the theory training. Or theory test, training. You're turning right into a dual carriageway. What should you do if a central reservation is too narrow to contain your vehicle? Katz, good morning to you. How are you? Remember, if you guys got a question about the theory training, about your driving lessons or driving test, pull it in the chat. Let me answer it. That's what the live is about, for you to ask personal questions. So I can answer it personally to you rather than a generic answer. And you guys got too narrow. Does it say narrow? Yes, it does. So it's yes, wait for the both sides to be clear at the same time, basically. You're having difficulty finding a parking space in a busy town. Can you park on the zigzag lines of a zebra crossing? You're a little bit late, but you're here. That's the most important thing. Have you got a test coming up? Have you booked a test before? Or are you just studying? I've got 16C just come through. Is it Ebi Pondi? Your answer to 16C. 16 has just come through, literally just come through. You guys gone for B. Yeah, it's an instant fine if you get caught. It's an instant fine. And the other question they can ask you on the real test: what's the other thing that you can't do within a zigzag? So one of them is parking, and for the real theory test, what's the other thing that you cannot do within a zigzag? And it's overtake. You must not overtake on approach to a zigzag. But like I said, that question doesn't come up on the app, by the way. What's 20 already? What may help to deter a thief from stealing your car? I have. Also, you've passed the theory test, so you're looking for driving tests. As I keep saying, there's no magic wand anymore. And September, that's just around the corner, though, wasn't it? September, and we're in October. Yeah, so you just recently failed. What did you fail on? Answer to your question, no. You can book, it's not a problem. You can't take one within 10 working days. So if you've done it in September 29th, you've passed the 10 working days anyway, so there's not going to be an issue. You just got to find a date. But there's no magic wand of finding a date. I keep saying that. You just got to keep jumping online or jumping at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. That's when they release new dates. But what did you fail on, just out of interest? And where did you take your test? What area did you take your test? Just out of interest. If you don't mind sharing, that is. Or B. Having a conversation. You guys gone for? Oh, there's a B there. Fitting reflective glass windows. I'm not sure how that's supposed to stop a thief. Reflective glass windows stop the heat from coming in, the sun coming through. It's etching. Just in case you don't know what etching is engraving stuff. So I covered this in the boot camp. It's engraving stuff. Some people use their mobile phone number, the last 4 digits, or they use their postcode to engrave it in the window. So etching is just engraving stuff in the window. Six faults and 2 series. 6 faults and 2 series, 6 minors, which is fine. It's about standard. But the 2 series is obviously what you need to sort out. So hopefully you and your instructor will sort it out. But standard wise, you got a few minors, which is really good. But it's the 2 S's that we need to sort out. But hopefully your instructor can sort it out for the next time. Yeah, but unfortunately, you just got to jump online, similar to what you must have done the first time. Just keep looking, and hopefully you get one. Solomon, 6th of November, that's only around the corner. Well, Solomon, you got another, at least a couple of more Sundays before your test in November. So while you're studying, please write down the questions, 15 out of 20. And come to the live, because this is what the live is about. It's for you guys to have questions during the week. Come to the live and ask away. So I just want to do this because I tend to do this every week. Because I keep saying to you guys that your real test is 50 questions made up of 14 different categories. So this is a 20 question mock test. And we got 9 categories, and it's made up of five for a 20 question mock test. Motorway rules, 2 incident accident emergencies, 1 attitude, 2 rules of the road, 1 vehicle handling, 5 safety vehicles, incident accidents and emergencies. That's come up twice for some reason. Got here 2 and here 1. Hazard awareness 2 and safety margins 1. So if my weakness was motorways, and I got 5 wrong at my 50 questions, I'm now down to 45. And if I struggled on safety, I'm now possible getting 10 questions wrong. So I'm already failing my theory test. This is why I say to you guys, understand the categories inside out, because no matter how they want to structure it, it makes no difference to you, because it's going to be a pass end of the day. But like I said, you need to understand the question and understand why the answer is what it is. Some of you just, again, still going in there memorizing it, or know what understanding words were. I think Striker asked a very good question. What's prohibited me? Most of you didn't know what that means, but like I said, that's what you need to do. Is if you don't know what the word means, Google it or AI it. Get them to use it in a particular way. It's funny because in the new study camp, I've got an AI bot that can help you out with that. So if you don't understand words, I've got AI bot in there that you type the words in, and the AI bot will bail you out. So Rachel saying hello. Passed the theory test. Congratulations, Rachel. You guys are showing your scores. Appreciate that. Vanessa's got a 20 out of 20. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live, first of all, and letting me know that you've passed. I've not seen your name before, I don't think. So, appreciate you breaking the silence. Malik's got a test tomorrow. I wish you, again, if you've got questions, type it in. I wish you luck with that tomorrow. Please come back next week and let us know how you got on. Christopher saying you got 18 and 20. Mine's 8th of November. It's only around the corner, a couple of weeks. Again, 20 out of 20. You put the work in, I'll just put the content out. You have to study the content. So I just like to know, I helped a little bit, but you put the work in. You still need to understand it to pass it. Have you got any live apart from Sundays? Nope, just Sunday, 10 a.m. until whenever we finish. All right, so hazard perception. So before we do that, let me do that first. Hazard perception, 14 videos, 13 of them have a single hazard. One of them's got a double, 2 5. So you need to be clicking all the way through to the end of the video because you don't know which one's got your double. A hazard, for those of you saying that you don't understand the clicking, it's not about clicking. I'm going to show you how to beat the system. But if you don't know what a hazard is, it doesn't work anyway. So you have to understand what a hazard is. A hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So I repeat, a hazard is going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So moving to the left, moving to the right, slow down, use your brakes. If you didn't know, for those of you that's not taking driving lessons, this is why I suggest take driving lessons while you're doing the theory. The hazard perception is the equivalent of you checking the mirror. So if you was driving live in the video, literally driving behind the steering wheel, looking at the windscreen, and you saw the problem, that click is you checking the mirrors. The driving test is hot on mirrors. That's the reason why the hazard perception was introduced, to make sure you guys fully understand. You see a problem when you're driving, you need to click. So now you know what a hazard is. The way to beat the system is to click twice per problem. In other words, twice. Well done. 65 on hazard perception. There you go. So 10 short of the maximum. Well done to you. LNT got 18 out of 20. So like I said, now you know what a hazard is. To beat the system, you click twice per problem. Because what they don't tell you on the videos, they say to you click early, but that's what you guys do. You're clicking early and you get in a 0. Well, they're not telling you that you need to click in the countdown window. So you need to be getting 5s, 4s, and 3s minimum. 2s and 1s will add up as long as the average is above your 44. So countdown window starts at 5, ends at 1. You have to get in here. And how you do that, you click twice per problem. So you click and you count 1, 2, and you click again. So if the first one was too early, the second one lands in the 5 or the 4. If you did get the 5 or the 4 in the first click, the second one lands in the 3 or the 2, which means you're still going to get the highest score. They don't downgrade you, so there's no benefit in clicking once. Lots of benefits in clicking twice, but no benefits in clicking once. So you click when you see the problem, count. Don't go 1, 2. It's click 1, 2, and then you click again. On the real test, I'll come to that in a minute. On the real test, it's all CGI videos, and based on feedback from our students, that the hazard perception's slightly slower, and obviously it's on a bigger screen. Most of you are doing it on your phones, so it's on a bigger screen, so it's a lot easier to see. I failed twice. I got 38, but I failed twice. Okay, and I got 38, but with the hazard I got 64. So the hazard is fine. If you got 38, you're not saying 38 is your first attempt or second attempt, but that's lack of knowledge either way. That's 12 questions wrong. That's lack of knowledge. You need to go back and restudy your categories. But the hazard perception is fine on that one. My test is 30th of the 10th. That's 11 days from now. So hopefully you put the work in since the last test. Right, so let me do a demonstration. But before I do that, let me just show you how it looks on the driving test report sheet. Let's get my pencil out. So that's your driving test report sheet. So when you take your driving test, you will get a copy of this. If the examiner will explain to you about the faults on it, if you agree to it, he will say to you, do you want me to give you a debrief? You should say yes. There's no embarrassment in failing your driving test. There's only going to go to a pass or fail. So if you fail it, again, it's data. Similar to what Kat's just said, 6 minors and I think 2 seriouses. You've got data, so you now know what to work on. Anyway, so you get a copy of this, and hazard perception. Sorry, theory test is box 17. Traffic lights, road markings, traffic signs, road markings, traffic lights, traffic controls, other road users. So that's your hazard perception. That's your theory test right there. So this is why I say you need it. My iPad's just frozen. Hold on 1 second. Let's reset it. I'll come back up in a minute. So that's the reason why I say you need to know your theory, because you're going to use it for your driving lessons. And that's box 17 right there. So hazard perception on this sheet is your mirrors. So box 14, use of mirrors before you signal, use of mirrors before you change direction, use of mirrors before you change speed. Now, on your hazard perception videos, you're not seeing the signals on that. So you can take that out. All they're interested in is you checking the mirrors, i.e. clicking before you move left or right, or before you slow down. And that's the box is going to get marked in on your driving lessons, driving test, if you're not checking the mirrors, i.e. clicking in good time. What they're saying is if you click late on your driving test, the brain won't allow you to check the mirrors, because the brain's designed to protect you. The first thing the brain's going to do is go for the brakes, and then you check your mirror afterwards. It's too late. You need to go for the mirrors first. So they're trying to encourage you to check mirrors nice and early. That's what the click represent. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know how to use the countdown window. You're not using it. You're trying to get a score in it. But I'm going to do a demonstration. Hopefully my iPad doesn't freeze. If it does, I'll come out of it and then use, let me shut this down, my phone. It's already frozen. All right, let me change to my phone. And that's what happens when you go live. So Let's get this out of the way first. Don't know why it's done that. iPhone. Hold on 1 second. Right. Hopefully. Get rid of this. Right. So I'm going to do 2 clips, one real life and one CGI. And I'll do a commentary drive so you know what I'm talking about, why I'm going to click. So I'm going to talk out loud while I'm doing it. So hopefully you can see that. So again, just looking all the way down the road, nothing's going on other than the bridge. So nothing to me click on. And if you look to the left, you've got a road sign says the road kind of narrows. So click on that and then click again. So that's what's caused me to slow down. So hopefully that's what I get marked on, but keep going because you don't know if it's your double. So a bend, I can't see around the bend. You should always slow down for a bend. Hence why you're clicking. Gonna hump a bridge. Then it's on the other side, so that's why you want to click. Again, this is all driving lesson stuff. If you can't see, you should be slowing down. Another bend with the van. So let me just show you. So you can see it's not cheating. 5 out of 5. And then always review it back to see how you can improve. I'll just speed this up to save time. So I'm going to pause it so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, it's too early. Right, there's the sign. I don't know if you guys can see. Probably it's not clear from where you are, but there's a sign to say the road narrows. So I click for the sign and then I click for the car coming through. So 2 clicks per problem. Let me just rewind that back so you understand. There's my first click for the sign. Road narrows, triangles are warnings, warning me of a problem. And then I saw the car, click for the car. I got 5, got 3. And that's the reason why you go for 2 clicks per problem. 1 for the sign, 1 for the car. And that's how you beat the system. But as I said, you need to understand what the hazard is to be able to click twice. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me just catch up with you guys on the comment section to see if anything's been said. Go on visibility test. V. All right, let me just read this out. Let me just make it slightly bigger. Because this is interesting. V said, I passed my theory test yesterday. Multiple choice is the same as your 4-in-1. Only a few questions new, but it's kind of tricky because I thought I'd get all the questions correctly, but to my surprise, I scored 44. So technically got 6 wrong. Right. It's nice that you're sharing experience, but that's a dangerous comment to make. And I'm going to break it down and say why it's dangerous. I passed my theory test yesterday, multiple choices, same as 4-in-1, only a few questions new. That's to you. On your test day, that's what you got. You only got new questions. As I said at the beginning of the live, for those of you that was being here at the beginning, the questions are random. So someone who gets a test may not get the same as V. So if I took my test and I was V and I said, the questions are slightly different to my friend, what they're going to do is study the 4-in-1 religiously. They go in there and the questions they get could be totally different because it's random. So you got to be very careful when you're giving that advice. For you, V, that's what worked out for you. On another day, someone gets questions that they've never seen before and a lot of them. So be very, very careful. I keep saying to you guys, the questions are different and worded differently. So you may get questions you may not get questions that you've never seen before. Right, I don't see any comments about the hazard perception. So let me do a real life clip. Sorry, real life CGI because it's clearer. Come out of that. Let's just do this one. And let me share my screen. That's the iPad, I don't want that. Right, so again, I can't see around the bend, so I'll click. Always look in the distance. Scanning from left to right, right to left, that's where road signs are on the pavement. There's something in the road. I can't see what it is. I'm just going to click on it anyway. Oop, 2 clicks. Can't see nothing going on. The road to my left. Van reflection in the window. That's a milk float. I saw the reflection in the window. I don't know what I got scored for that. Whether I got 4 or 5. We'll find out. And this is why you need to be looking well ahead in the video, left to right, not just literally in front. And when you're driving on your lessons, don't just watch the car in front. You're trying to look all the way down the road. Oh, got 5 out of 5. So, again, just show you some not cheating there. 5 out of 5. And then always review it back to see how you can improve. Let me just speed up to save time. I'm going to try and pause it where I saw the reflection. So that's where I saw the reflection. You probably, where the red circle is, there's a reflection there. And I clicked shortly afterwards. And this is what I'm saying about understanding what hazards are or where hazard can come from. Hazards come from side roads, cars, bikes don't stop at give-way lines. But again, this is why I suggest you take driving lessons, because it sharpens your observation skills. So there's my click, and there's my second one. So hopefully that makes some sense, especially for those of you, I think Hannah, if she's still here, the ones who were struggling with the hazard perception. And there's no comments about the hazard perception. Can't explain all the possible things or questions related. That's a big topic. We covered it in the boot camp. There's lots of stuff with that. Keeping it simple. Questions about tunnels is what should you do when before you go into a tunnel? Turn on the lights, dip lights. The other one is tune into the traffic frequency. The other one is take off sunglasses or take off tinted glasses. The other one's put hazard lights on. And what's going to give you information before going into a tunnel, which is moving message displays. But there's lots of questions with tunnels and it's deep. Can you explain the reflective studs on the motorway? Yes, reflective studs, there's green, slip roads, red, hard shoulder, left lane, white, middle lane, and amber is the right-hand lane. And when they give that question, motorway, it would be in the wording. And if you don't know where the studs are, go to the word motorway. It breaks it down. The RWA is an exact order as the lanes. And if that doesn't make sense to you, there's a video on my YouTube channel that breaks it down. Yeah, like I said, it's just a case of literally knowing what the hazard is first. That's the first thing you want to do. Even if you just watch the video, don't click. And just say to yourself, right, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem, and then go from there. But you have to understand what a hazard is, and then you click on it. And I'll give you another example in a minute. I'll do another one. Right, let me just do something. I don't know whether it's going to work. Because someone said they got a couple of zeros on there. I'm going to go back to a real life clip. Because if you click on things that don't exist, it may add up to too many. I'm going to try it, but whether or not it's going to kick me out is another matter. Right, let me just do a hazard. I'm going to click too many times and see what happens. Let's do this one and share my screen. So I'm going to do this video twice and just show you. I remember you guys are practicing at home, so there's nothing wrong with practicing your clicks and refining the details with it. Some of you guys are like trying to get it correct all the time. Don't be afraid to trial and error, because you're practicing. You're just trying to get your skills honed. So when you take the real test, you're spot on. So what you do at home is irrelevant as long as you peak for your test. All right, traffic lights, clicking on that. They could go to red. The speed limit, I don't want to speed up if someone's about to overtake me. The brake lights, indicator, the shop on the corner gave way line so a car could come out of there. The road to my left, car can come out of there. Petrol station, a car can come out of there, shoot across the road. Black and white poles in the distance, zebra crossing. The woman in the blonde hair, now she's crossing. And the road to my left after the bus stop. Something could come out of there. I'm going to just click again. Right, so there you go. Cheat detection. Because I'm clicking on things just random. Right, cars could have come out the side roads. Cars could have come out the petrol station, shoot across the road, or bikes. This is why I'm saying you need to understand what hazards are. So I'm not going to do the video again the way it should be done. Right, so let's just go back to practice clips, come out of that. So this is the way it should have been done. Right. Speed limit sign. I definitely want to be clicking on speed limit because I don't want to speed up if someone's about to overtake me. So I need to check my mirrors to make sure it's safe to speed up. Brake lights, he's slowing down. So obviously I may need to slow down. I don't need to signal for the indicator because he already slowed down. Now scanning the road from left to right, the blue shop on the corner. There is nothing there at the giveaway line for me to click on because nothing's going to come out. Same thing to the road to my left, no cars, no bikes. Same thing to the petrol station, no cars, no bikes. Don't need to click. Black and white poles in the distance, I do need to click because it's a zebra crossing and is someone near it, the woman in the blonde hair. And then looking in the distance, the road beyond the bus stop, there's nothing there for me to click on, so I don't need to click. So you can see the amount of clicks now compared to the first attempt. Okay, I've got 5 out of 5 on form. Let's see if I can get this done with that so you can show you without cheating. I can't do it. All right, let me move myself out of the way, that way you can see. Hold on 1 second, unmute. Where are we? Right, so if I bring it down, you can see 5 out of 5. And I can just put myself back. And then let me lock that scene. Right, so let's review. I'm just going to speed up to save the process. So black and white poles in the distance, zebra crossing. There's my first click for the black and white poles. And there's my second. So 5 for the first click, 4 on the second. Then the woman looking to cross the road, blonde hair. Different problem, clicking twice. 2 problems, 2 sets of clicks. So they didn't downgrade me. As I said to you, there's no benefit in clicking once per problem. You click twice just in case. But if you click on things that matter, it will not add up to too many clicks. If you click on things that don't exist like I did on the first attempt, it can add up. So a car has to be at the side road. If there isn't a car, it isn't a bike, it can't be a problem because there's nothing for you to hit. So hopefully that makes sense. So those of you that were saying about getting zeros, it's not because you're not getting the clicks right, it's because you did not understand what the problem was, hence why you got a 0. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're talking about the app, I'll take your word for it. When I've done the videos, it's not fast for me. But it doesn't change anything. Still a problem's a problem, regardless of whether it's fast or slow. And you still click, count 1, 2, and go again. But the feedback on the real test, they're slightly slower. Abina, congratulations on passing the first. So thank you for coming to the live. Let me know how you got on. You have clicked as much as you can, no problem. You have to click as much as you have to click as much as you spot the hazard. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You have to click as much as you spot the hazard. I'm not sure what you mean by, but again, I'm going for clarification. See a problem, you click at least twice per problem. If you're clicking on problems that exist, it will not add up to too many clicks. But as you saw when I've done that demonstration, clicking on side roads that had nothing there, indicators that's not relevant, makes no difference. You don't want to be doing that. Only thing that's going to cause you to slow down. JBS, congratulations on passing. Again, thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. That's the last comment I see on there. So I'm going to wish you guys a happy Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, most importantly. For those of you who've got a test coming up this week, I wish you luck with that. Please come back next week. Let us know how you got on. For those of you that are studying for your test, as you're studying, write down any questions that you may have and come to the live next week and let me answer it for you. And give you the best possible chance of passing your test when that's coming up. Outside of that, guys, just look after yourself. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy your week next week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care.